Good morning, children. Today we will learn about the vapor pressure of liquid and vapor pressure of solution. So, first of all, we should know what is vapor pressure. So, you have seen in class 11th in chapter equilibrium, if any liquid is kept in a vessel like this and the space over the liquid is evacuated and this setup is kept at some constant temperature T, then initially you will notice that the water evaporates. This liquid evaporates from the surface and the vapors occupy the space over the liquid in the vessel. If we attach manometer and measure the vapor pressure of the vapor over the liquid, then it keeps on increasing and at the same time the level of liquid starts coming down. After some times we notice that the vapor pressure become constant, level of liquid become constant. This is because after some times when the population of vapor increases in the space above the liquid, then the vapor molecules collide with each other and then they lose their energy and condense and come back to the liquid state. After some times the rate of evaporation and rate of condensation become equal and no change in the level of liquid is noticed and the vapor pressure become constant. So from here we can define the vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the vapor over the liquid at particular temperature in equilibrium with the liquid. Now what happens when any non-volatile solute is added? Here the solute is non-volatile. It means the solute does not contribute to the vapor state or solute does not form the vapor at that temperature. So when such solute is added into the liquid, for example, when NaCl is added to water, urea is added to water, so these solutes are not forming vapor at that time, then we get the solution. And once again, if we attach the manometer to the system, then we find that the vapor pressure of the solution is lower than the vapor pressure of the water taken earlier. Now, how the vapor pressure of the solution get lowered? So there can be two reasons. One is that when solute is added, then solute dissolve in liquid and some particles of the solute come to occupy the surface. As we know that evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Now if some surface area is occupied by the solute particles, so it means the area from where evaporation is now taking place become lesser. So that's why the vapor pressure becomes lesser. Another reason for lowering the vapor pressure can be that when solute like NaCl is added to water, then there will be solute solvent interaction. Solute is here ionic and water is dipolar. So there can be ion dipole interaction and which is greater, which does not permit the water molecules to go into the vapor phase. That's why the vapor pressure of the solution get lowered. So here Raoult studied what is the effect of addition of solute to any liquid and how its pressure is lowered, and this can be stated in the form of Raoult's law. So here we will take two cases of Raoult's law. One is when the solution contains some non-volatile liquid and another is when solution consists of two miscible and volatile liquids. So first is the case of solution having non-volatile liquid. What is non-volatile liquid? Non-volatile solid. Non-volatile solid, non-volatile solute or non-volatile solid means the solute which does not contribute to the vapor phase, which does not form the vapor at that temperature. Such solute is called as non-volatile solute. So for the solution containing non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of solvent at particular temperature. Note that here it is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent, not the solute, as solute is not directly contributing any particle to the vapor state as it is non-volatile. So PA is directly proportional to XA. So this PA will be equal to P naught A into XA, where PA is vapor pressure of solution, XA mole fraction of solvent, and P naught A is vapor pressure of pure liquid like water. Now the same case can be stated in another way in terms of the relative lowering in vapor pressure. This is also called as Raoult law. For the solution containing non-volatile solute, the relative lowering in vapor pressure of the solution is equal to the mole fraction of solute. Here we use relative lowering in vapor pressure. So if we see the Raoult's law, it can be written as PA equal to P naught A into XA. And now XA can be written in terms of XB as 1 minus XB. So if you put this value PA equal to P naught A into 1 minus XB, then on solving we get this expression. See what is this P naught A minus PA? This is called lowering. And if this lowering is divided by the vapor pressure of pure liquid P naught A, then it becomes lowering with respect to pure liquid. That is called as relative lowering. That is P naught A minus PA upon P naught A. So relative lowering in vapor pressure is equal to XB. That is mole fraction of solute at particular temperature. So this is also called as Raoult's law. Now another condition is when the solution is consisting of two liquids and both are volatile, both are forming the vapor. So in this condition, the total vapor pressure will be equal to sum of their partial pressures. So how the Raoult's law can be stated here? For the solution consisting of two miscible and volatile liquids, the vapor pressure of each component. So vapor pressure of each component is also called as partial vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of each component is directly proportional to its own mole fraction. As suppose any liquid solution is taken, it is made of two liquid A and B. Their mole fractions in liquid state are XA and XB, or chi A and chi B. Now you can write the PA is directly proportional to chi A, and PA will be equal to P naught A into chi A. Similarly, for another component B, PB equal to P naught B into chi B, and P total is equal to PA plus PB. And now if we put the value of PA and PB from here, then we can write in this way. Now substituting the value of XB in terms of XA or XA in terms of XB, you may put both. So now here we will put XB in terms of XA. So then this can be derived as P total equal to P naught A minus P naught B into chi A or XA mole fraction of component plus P naught B. So note that the total vapor pressure also depends upon mole fraction of component like A and B, because these are constant values. So we should note that the composition of component in vapor phase here is different from the vapor pressure, is different from the composition of component in liquid phase. For example, suppose in liquid state their mole fractions are XA and XB. Need not that in the same ratio they will be there in the vapor phase. ये भी हो सकता है कि जो कंपोनेंट लिक्विड में कम हो, लेकिन अगर वो ज़्यादा वोलेटाइल है तो उसके ज़्यादा पार्टिकल्स वेपर में बने और वेपर फेज में उसका मोल फ्रैक्शन ज़्यादा हो. सो कंपोजिशन ऑफ वेपर फेज totally depends upon the volatile nature of components. A and B. It does not depend in what ratio A and B are present in liquid state. So in order to find out the composition of component in vapor phase, first we calculate the total vapor pressure, because sometimes it is asked in question that calculate the vapor pressure of calculate the mole fraction of component in vapor phase. So in order to calculate the mole fraction of component in vapor phase, first we calculate P total. So P total equal to PA plus PB. Now we can find out the partial pressure of A will be equal to P total multiplied by mole fraction of A. Similarly, partial pressure of B will be equal to, it is obtained by multiplying P total by YB. So here YA is the mole fraction of component A in vapor phase. So this will be equal to PA upon P total. Similarly, YB, that is mole fraction of component B in vapor phase, this will be equal to PB upon P total. So in this way we can find out the composition of vapor phase. That is, what is the mole fraction of component in vapor phase, which is different from the composition of the components in the liquid phase. Now this is the graphical representation of the dependence of the vapor pressure on the mole fraction. Now suppose here binary solution is taken, where here is we have only pure liquid A, so B is not here, so that's why mole fraction of B is taken as 0, and here we have only B, no A is present, so mole fraction of A is 0. Now suppose here we have pure liquid A and no B is there. Now what happens? B start adding B into A. So as B add B into A, the mole fraction of B increases. For example, suppose here it is 1 and 0. Now as soon as B is added in A, now its mole fraction becomes suppose 8. So now it will be 0.2, because sum of mole fraction is always 1. Now again B add B into A. Now the mole fraction again of A decreases and B increases, like this, in this way. Now we will see that as B add V in A, its mole fraction increases and its vapor pressure also increases, and it approaches the maximum value or limiting value when we have only B, no A is present. So this is the vapor pressure of pure liquid B. Similarly, here we have only B, no A is there. Now start adding A into B. So what will happen? The mole fraction of B will decrease and A will increase. So as the mole fraction of A increases, now as we have seen that the partial vapor pressure of A is directly proportional to its own mole fraction. So when mole fraction of A increases, then its vapor pressure increases like this, and this approaches the maximum value when we have only the component A, no B is present, means when A is highest, that is the mole fraction of A, it means B is not there. So solution which obeys this graph, solution which obeys Raoult's law, such solution is called as ideal solution, and such solutions obey the Raoult's law under all conditions of temperature as well as concentration or temperature and composition. Now we will see what is ideal solution. The solution which obeys Raoult's law under all conditions of temperature and composition or concentration. There are certain conditions that must be followed by the solution to become ideal solution. As first one is the Raoult law is obeyed. So this Pa equal to P naught A into Xy, like this. And when such a solution is prepared by mixing the component, there should not be any change in the volume. Delta V mixing should be 0. It means that if you take 10 ml of component A, A and B both are there. Suppose you take 10 ml of A and 10 ml of B. So on mixing, B should get exactly 20 ml. So if it is like this, then the solution will be ideal. And another, the delta H mixing should be 0. It means neither the heat is absorbed nor the heat is evolved during the mixing. So such solution will be आइडियल सॉल्यूशन. बट नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज कि ये तीनों कंडीशंस कब फॉलो होंगी? जब हम कंपोनेंट ए को बी में ऐड करें और ए बी के बीच का जो न्यू इंटरेक्शन है, इफ दिस इंटरेक्शन इज सेम एज ए इंटरेक्शन इन प्योर लिक्विड ए and BB interaction in pure liquid B, then such solutions, such components on mixing will behave as the nearly ideal solution, or this will follow this and it will behave as ideal solution. But there is no 100% ideal solution. We don't have ideal solution. There is no solution which is exactly 100% ideal solution, but the solutions show ideal behavior to the different extent. We have the nearly ideal solutions, and in such solutions you will notice that AB interaction is similar to AA and BB interactions. For example, if we add benzene to toluene or toluene to benzene, so if we have toluene, so there will be this van der Waals force of attraction. If you add benzene to toluene, again there will be van der Waals force of attraction. No changes in the forces of attraction, so it will be have ideal solution. If you have chlorobenzene and bromobenzene, so chlorobenzene it is polar, so because carbon and chlorine bond is polar, so dipole-dipole interaction. Here is also dipole-dipole, so on mixing there will be dipole-dipole interaction, so such liquid pair will be ideal. And in case if suppose AB interaction is somewhat different from AA and BB interaction, but if we reduce the volume of the solute, if we reduce the quantity of the solute here, means if the solute is added in very less quantity, so then that time also the solution behaves as ideal solution. तो इसमें ये हम कंसीडर कर सकते हैं कि अगर इंटरेक्शन डिफरेंट भी होगा तो सॉल्यूट इतने कम है कि उसका ओवरऑल सॉल्यूशन या ओवरऑल इंटरेक्शन पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. सो वेरी डाइल्यूट सॉल्यूशंस exhibit ideal behavior to the greater extent. Now what is non-ideal solution? So solution which does not obey the Raoult's law under all conditions of temperature and pressure. So such solutions will be non-ideal solutions. For non-ideal solution, PA does not equal to P naught A into XA, PB does not equal to P naught B into XB, likewise this, and delta V mixing will not be equal to 0, delta H mixing will not be equal to 0. So what does it mean? It means the solutions deviate from ideal behavior. तो अगर PA इसके बराबर नहीं है तो इससे ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है और कम भी हो सकता है. इफ़ डेल्टा V mixing is not exactly 0, तो इससे ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है और कम भी हो सकता है. सिमिलरली डेल्टा H मिक्सिंग देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी इंथैल्पी चेंज, लेकिन अगर इंथैल्पी चेंज हो रही है तो वो पॉजिटिव भी हो सकती है और नेगेटिव भी हो सकती है. एक्चुअली सॉल्यूशंस show deviation from the ideal behavior. So they exhibit two types of deviations. One is positive deviation and another is negative deviation. So let us see what is positive deviation. When vapor pressure of each component is greater than what is expected from Raoult's law, then such solutions exhibit positive deviation. So when such solution is prepared by mixing the components, then delta V mixing is greater than 0, that is positive. It means कि अगर हम 10 ml कंपोनेंट A का 10 ml कंपोनेंट B में मिलाएं तो वो एग्जैक्टली 20 ml नहीं बट 20.1 ml लाइक दैट आता है, तो वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाता है. सिमिलरली अगर ऐसे कंपोनेंट को हम मिक्स करते हैं तो उस केस में हम देखते हैं कि सम हीट एनर्जी इज एब्जॉर्ब ड्यूरिंग मिक्सिंग, सो कूलिंग इज कास्ड, सो दिस शोज दैट डेल्टा एच मिक्सिंग इज पॉजिटिव, सो दिस शोज द पॉजिटिव डेविएशन. और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जब कंपोनेंट को ए को बी में मिलाते हैं तो उसमें जो ए बी इंटरेक्शन होता है वो लूज होगा और जो वेपर में जाने की टेंडेंसी है वो बढ़ जाएगी, एस्केपिंग टेंडेंसी बढ़ जाएगी. यही कारण है कि इसका वेपर प्रेशर राउल्ट लॉ से जितना एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं उससे ज़्यादा हो सकता जाता है. एज एथेनॉल एंड साइक्लोहेक्सेन, एसीटोन एंड CH2, एसीटोन एंड बेंजीन, एल्कोहल एंड वाटर. अगर हम इसको समझने की कोशिश करें, जैसे मान लीजिए हम एसीटोन है हमारे पास, तो एसीटोन मीन्स CH3 C डबल बॉन्ड O CH3, तो अगर हमारे पास केवल एसीटोन है तो यहाँ पर डेल पॉजिटिव होगा, डेल नेगेटिव, तो यहाँ पर डाइपोल डाइपोल इंटरेक्शन होगा। लेकिन अगर CH2 इसमें मिलाते हैं तो CH2 में हमारा वैन डेर वाल लंडन डिस्पर्सन फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन है, तो जब CH2 इसमें आएगा तो ये डाइपोल डाइपोल इंटरेक्शन को क्या करेगा, लूज़ करेगा, वीक करेगा, और इससे उसकी एस्केपिंग टेंडेंसी बढ़ जाएगी। तो इससे जब जो लिक्विड पेयर दिया गया है उसमें पहले आप देख लीजिए कि उनके बीच में क्या किस तरह के इंटरेक्शंस हैं प्योर लिक्विड में, और मिलाने पर वो इंटरेक्शंस और स्ट्रेंथन हो रहे हैं कि वीकन हो रहे हैं। अगर वो इंटरेक्शंस वीक हो रहे होंगे तो ऐसे लिक्विड पेयर्स जो होंगे वो पॉजिटिव डेविएशन शो करेंगे। अगर हम नेगेटिव डेविएशन की बात करें, सो वेपर प्रेशर ऑफ ईच कंपोनेंट इज लोअर देन व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम राउल्ट्स लॉ। सिमिलरली डेल्टा वी मिक्सिंग नेगेटिव है, इट्स का मतलब यहाँ पर अगर हम 10 ml को दूसरे कंपोनेंट के 10 ml में मिलाएं तो जो सॉल्यूशन एग्जैक्टली 20 ml नहीं होगा, 19.9293 ml ही होगा। सिमिलरली डेल्टा एच मिक्सिंग नेगेटिव है, इसका मतलब वहाँ पर सॉल्यूशन में ही बनाने पर हीट इवॉल्व होगी और जो हमारा कंटेनर है ये गर्म हो जाएगा। इसको आप एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं। अगर आप 10 ml क्लोरोफॉर्म ले लें और उसमें 10 ml एसीटोन मिलाएं, आप देखेंगे कि आपका जो मेजरिंग सिलेंडर है वो गर्म हो जाता है, क्योंकि हीट यहाँ पर इवॉल्व हो रही है। और आप एक्यूरेटली उस वॉल्यूम को मेजर करें तो एग्जैक्टली 20 ml नहीं मिलता है, वो 19.9293 ml ही मिलता है अगर आप दूसरे मोल कैलिब्रेटेड मेजरिंग सिलेंडर से मेजर करें। तो कहने का मतलब ये हुआ कि यहाँ पर वॉल्यूम भी नेगेटिव हो गया, डेल्टा एच मिक्सिंग भी नेगेटिव हो गया, वेपर प्रेशर कम हो गया। और ऐसा तभी हो सकता है जबकि कंपोनेंट को मिलाने पर वेपर में जाने की टेंडेंसी वीक हो जाए, कम हो जाए। तो वेपर में जाने की टेंडेंसी कम हो रही है, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि उनके बीच का जो इंटरेक्शन है वो स्ट्रांग हो रहा है, उसको तोड़ने के लिए ज़्यादा एनर्जी चाहिए। और इसके कुछ लिक्विड पेयर्स हैं एग्जाम्पल के रूप में जो नेगेटिव डेविएशन शो करते हैं, जैसे क्लोरोफॉर्म और एसीटोन, एसीटोन और एनालिन। मिनरल एसिड और वाटर याद रखिएगा, मिनरल एसिड और वाटर नेगेटिव डेविएशन शो करेंगे, HCl वाटर, HNO3 वाटर, H2SO4 वाटर, ये नेगेटिव डेविएशन। और एल्कोहल वाटर जो होगा, इथाइल एल्कोहल वाटर, मिथाइल एल्कोहल वाटर, ये पॉजिटिव डेविएशन शो करेगा। यहाँ पर अगर आप देखें, मान लीजिए एसीटोन है, पहला आप यहाँ पर देख चुके हैं, तो एसीटोन के बीच में जो इंटरेक्शन है वो क्या होगा, डाइपोल डाइपोल टाइप। और अगर आपके पास क्लोरोफॉर्म है CHCl3, तो यहाँ पर जो इंटरेक्शन है वो डाइपोल डाइपोल होगा। लेकिन जब हम इन दोनों को मिलाएंगे तो यहाँ पर जो इंटरेक्शन है अब वो हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग काम करने लगेगी। और चूँकि हम जानते हैं कि जो हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग इंटरेक्शन है वो एसीटोन में जो डाइपोल डाइपोल है और जो क्लोरोफॉर्म में डाइपोल डाइपोल इंटरेक्शन है, दोनों से स्ट्रांग है। तो जब AB इंटरेक्शन स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा तो वेपर फेज में जाने की टेंडेंसी कम हो जाएगी और जो वेपर प्रेशर है कम हो जाएगा। अब चूँकि इंटरेक्शन बढ़ रहा है तो मॉलिक्यूल्स पास पास आएंगे तो उनका वॉल्यूम भी कम हो जाएगा, और जब इंटरेक्शन बढ़ेगा तो हीट एनर्जी लिबरेट होगी, तो डेल्टा एच मिक्सिंग भी क्या हो जाएगा, नेगेटिव हो जाएगा। और इस तरह से ऐसे लिक्विड पेयर्स नेगेटिव डेविएशन शो करेंगे। तो अगर हमें लिक्विड पेयर दिया गया है और ये पूछ रहा है कि पॉजिटिव डेविएशन शो करेगा कि नेगेटिव, तो बच्चों में यही करना पड़ेगा कि उनके बीच में किस तरह के इंटरेक्शंस हैं उसको पहले हमें फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा, और ये देखना पड़ेगा कि जब उसमें दूसरा कंपोनेंट मिला रहे हैं तो वो उसके इंटरेक्शन को लूजन कर रहा है या स्ट्रेंथन कर रहा है। सो ऑन दिस बेसिस वी कैन प्रेडिक्ट वेदर द गिवन पेयर विल एग्जिबिट पॉजिटिव डेविएशन और नेगेटिव। याद रखिएगा, अल्कोहल और वाटर पॉजिटिव डेविएशन, पॉजिटिव डेविएशन में सारी वैल्यूज़ पॉजिटिव हैं, डेल्टा वी मिक्सिंग, डेल्टा एच मिक्सिंग सब पॉजिटिव, और नेगेटिव डेविएशंस में सारी चीज़ें नेगेटिव हैं, केवल जो AB इंटरेक्शन है वो स्ट्रांग हो रहा है। थैंक यू।